Yo, what is up, guys? This is B Bricks and Brickdo here, and today I wanted to talk about the Ulysses Space Probe promo release. And as you guys know, I mean, there's been a lot of uproar, I would say, in the community after the whole release debacle. So I'm not going to get into the whole release debacle a whole lot. What I really want to talk about in this video is what are the practical solutions to this issue? What should LEGO do in the future? What should have they done for this release? And I want to talk about those, those possible options. But just to recap, basically the promo went live at 9 a.m. The other day, and essentially people were having trouble logging in. It essentially just went out of stock right away. There was crashes, people were getting error codes. It was basically just a total mess of trying to get it. If you were there at 9 a.m., you probably still didn't even get it just because of all those issues, and it left a lot of fans angry. There's a lot of really passionate space fans, a lot of really passionate LEGO fans who felt like they deserved an opportunity to really pick up that VIP reward, and it just turned out to sort of just be a big flop. A lot of when they set this up, we talked about this in the previous video. It set itself up to sort of just be a sort of scalper's paradise a little bit. If they picked it up, you could probably sell it for $100 to $200 on eBay, and that's the going price right now. And I just don't think it was the best option. I don't think LEGO really made a smart decision in doing the release the way that they did. And so I'm going to talk about three options, basically in my eyes, basically what they could do in the future to sort of fix this issue. And so the first one here, it's basically, it works like this, right? Everybody who wants this VIP set has 24 hours to put in their points, right? To say that they want this set. And after these 24 hours, it closes and LEGO goes and produces the number of sets that were claimed. The problem is with this solution, I think, is that it would take months, right? Because they essentially would have to, basically crowdsource everybody who wanted this set, go ahead, produce the set, and then give everybody the code for the set. It would just end up taking months, and this is very similar to how the Bricklink thing worked. But I think for something like that, people are much more willing to wait. I think with this LEGO VIP thing, it would work, but I just don't know if in practicality if it would be what fans would really want. Even if they say they want that, I'm not sure if there'd be a lot of people willing to wait the months that it would take to sort of figure that all out. And so the second solution is potentially just to produce more. And I saw this a lot. I saw a lot of comments on this that LEGO should have expected this. They should have expected this immense demand for something like this, as this is nothing new in recent times. We've seen crazy demand for sets, previous promos that were just prints, that were just coins, things that weren't actually sets. We saw crazy demand, and it seems crazy that LEGO did not expect this for this release, and they should have just made more sets. And I think that's a valid argument. However, I think if that solution was really that feasible, I think they would have done that. And I think we've seen that the fact that they've had issues supplying sets. We've talked about this many times in the past, and it just seems right now that based on their production limits and things like that, that just wouldn't have been a possible solution this time around. And that's probably more of a long-term solution, I would say, not something that we probably will see in the coming months for more promos. And that's, it takes a while to potentially set up new factories, things like that, to really increase the production. It's probably not as easy to allocate all that production for these VIP promos as it might seem. That's sort of my 2 cents on that, but could be wrong. And I'd say the third option is basically to do a raffle. Everybody puts their name in. Maybe there's another 24-hour thing where everybody has 24 hours to put in their VIP points and basically say that they want this set, and LEGO randomly selects the winners, and then they get the code for the set. And the people who didn't get the code, they just get their points, back to their account. So no one would be really gambling. It would just sort of be more of like if you want it, put your name in. But I think this would just basically create the same problem that we have right now, right? Is that if everybody just puts their name in, LEGO randomly selects the winners, it would just bring a lot of scalpers, and it wouldn't really solve the problem of getting these sets in the hands of loyal fans, which seems to be really the root of the issue and what people are complaining about, and rightfully so, I think. Although this is a fair solution, I would say it's not a great solution, because it really just we end up having really the same issue as we did this time around. It would just be more of a fair and more, I think, digestible way for people to, if they ended up losing the raffle, to possibly accept that than having to wait online at 9 a.m. and then things sell out, there's errors and all that. And so I've proposed 3 options, for LEGO if they're going to do the VIP rewards and make it an actual set. I've proposed 3 options, and to be honest, it doesn't really seem like any of those seem like a great solution to me. You could definitely, argue about which one's the best. Some of those might be better than what they did, and I agree with that. But I don't think any of those really solve any major issues with this, and I sort of have a problem with it. I think the best solution is basically do what they had been doing up to this point with those sets, is basically make it a day one promo with the purchase of the set. So they should have made it a promo with the space shuttle set. And I know that, this whole thing, like the promo got delayed and then the space shuttle release and all that. But if you're going to do that, I think you really just have to match those two together to be, a release with the promo with the set on day one. I feel like at that point, it becomes fair, because if you're someone who really wants the set on day one, you're going to be paying full retail and you'll get the promo, but you're sort of foregoing the option to potentially pick up that set in the future for a discount, potentially pick up that set in the future with multiple promos, things like that. You have to sort of potentially give up some of that future value. And so I think those people, those fans who really want that set day one are probably the people who also want this promo. And I think that to me just makes the most sense. I think back to like the Coliseum, and they had that promo with it. I think that's just a really good way to do it, and probably the best way. And I think if any problem like this comes up again where promo gets delayed and the set releases, that they should really just either cancel the promo and make it an in-store promo only, and not do this whole online fiasco thing, because I just don't think LEGO's really set up to handle that situation, as we've seen after this whole debacle. And so one other thing I wanted to talk about was the recent releases of the exclusive prints and the exclusive coins we've seen in the Reward Center. And I feel like, the obvious question is, okay, if that's what we do with the sets, what do we do with these things? And I know this has also caused a lot of, I would say, concern in the community that there's these really cool promos that are basically quick drops on the Reward Center. They're really hard to get. They go for a lot in the secondary market. I'm okay with that, because I do feel like it gives some value to the points if you are able to pick one up and get lucky. And I feel personally, if I miss out on one of those items, it doesn't feel like I'm robbed of something. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm really collecting this, and this is just a set that I can't get, because it's just, for me, an accessory to my collection, these prints or these coins. But again, that's just more sort of from my personal standpoint. I know that there's probably some hardcore LEGO collectors who feel like they need all these prints, and they feel like they probably deserve the opportunity to pick them all up relatively easier than what it at least has been. And I know it's probably the case for most people, but I would say, from my personal opinion, I'm okay with the prints and the coins. It's nice if you're lucky enough to get them, but I feel like if I miss out on them, I'm not too disappointed. I'm not too angry about it. It's more of like a good opportunity to pick up something cool, rather than like this set that released the Space Probe. But it feels like, more than anything, like you really just missed out on it. You know what I mean? But again, my personal opinion there, I'm sure many of you guys might be hardcore collectors and really looking for these prints and want the same thing, to be them more of like a general release rather than these exclusive, hard to get things in the Reward Center, which is fair. And so just to recap here, essentially, we had the debacle of the Space Probe release at the Reward Center. As far as practical options in the near future, I think some of them solve some of the issues, but again, I think there's still a lot of just core issues to this sort of release in the Reward Center of a set that doesn't really, in my opinion, fix the main things. And so I think the best solution is basically just have these exclusive sets released day one with the corresponding set, like we see with the Coliseum and the Chariot, sort of like they have been doing. To me, that's the best solution. Given this situation, and I personally hope to not see sets in the Reward Center like this again, if they're just going to do this, release and then just make it a free-for-all. And lastly, I am okay with the prints and exclusive coins in the Reward Center. I just feel like, as a collector, those are more accessories, and I don't feel as bad missing out on them. So guys, if you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is BBricks signing off. Thanks, guys.